Hello everyone, welcome back to Agri Roots channel. Today we will be discussing a new topic, that is sericulture. So as the name suggests, sericulture is defined as the rearing of silkworms, where silk is the secretion of salivary gland that is ectodermal in origin. The life cycle of silkworm comprises of 4 stages: egg stage, larval stage, pupal stage, and adult stage. Eggs are generally laid by the females on the lower surface of the leaves, and this stage generally lasts for around about 7 to 10 days. The average fecundity of female is about 300 to 500 eggs. The larval stage, it lasts for around about 25 to 30 days, and the silk which is generally produced, it is generally the secretion of the end of the larval phase of the silkworm, that is during the last fifth instar. If you talk about the pupal phase, it generally tends to last for a period of about 8 to 10 days, and the adult stage, it lasts for about 5 to 6 days. So in short, the entire life cycle, it gets completed within a period of about 6 to 8 weeks. Adult, it generally tends to emerge from the cocoon in a period of about 10 to 12 days, and the adult, it survives for about 2 to 3 days. So we can say that immediately after appearance, the adults, they would mate, and females, they would lay eggs, that is 300 to 400, or we can say 500 eggs, which is the average fecundity of the female. The female generally tends to die after laying the eggs. Now next we're going to know about the silkworm species. There are generally 5 main types of silkworm species. First we have the mulberry silk. Next we have the tassar silk. Next is the oak tassar silk. Next is the eri silk, and next is the Magga silk. If we first talk about the mulberry silk is generally white or creamy in color and is generally formed by Bombax mori. The host of mulberry silk is mulberry plant itself, and Karnataka is the leading producer of this mulberry silk. Mulberry silk is also referred to as pure silk and has diapause in its egg stage. Bombay call is generally released by the females to attract the males. Next we have the tassar silk. Tassar silk is generally copperish in color and is reared by Antherae mylitta. It belongs to the family of Saturniidae and undergoes diapause in the pupal stage. It is generally reared on Arjun, that is Terminalia arjuna, Sal, Shaurya robusta, and Bear. Next we have the Oak-Tassar silk. Oak-Tassar silk is generally referred to as the temperate silk. China is the leading producer of this Oak-Tassar, and the scientific name is Antheria proli or Antheria purnei. Next, it is generally most commonly reared on Quercus species, that is the oak species. Next, we have the Eri silk. Eri silk is generally referred to as the Iranti silk, or we can say Endi silk, or we can say Ahimsa silk. It is generally white in color. The name of the silkworm is Samphia cynthia and belongs to the family of Satyridae. This airy silkworm is generally reared indoors along with this mulberry silkworm. Next we have the Magha silk. India generally tend to have a monopoly in this Magha silk. The silk is golden, yellowish in color. It also belongs to the family of Satyridae and has a scientific name of Antheria acema. It also undergoes diapause in the pupal stage with host plants of Som and Sualu. Assam is the leading producer of Magha silk in India. Amongst all these silkworm species, generally mulberry silk and tassar silk, they both are univoltine, bivoltine and multivoltine in nature, whereas oak tassar, it is generally bivoltine in nature, and Magha silk and Eri silk, they both are multivoltine in nature. Multivoltine basically means that it has many generations in a particular year. Bivoltine, it means that it has two generations in a particular year. Next, we are going to talk about the silk filament. Silk filament is continuous and comprises of two major proteins. First is the fibroin and the other is the sericin. Fibroin is referred to as the major protein as it constitutes of about 75% of the weight of the raw silk. Sericin constitutes only 25% of the weight of the raw silk. It acts as a cementing layer between the two fibroin filaments. The process of removal of sericin is referred to as the degumming, which results in the reduction in the weight of the silk. If we have to produce 1 kilogram of raw silk, for this about 7 to 8 kilogram of cocoon are required, and to produce 1 kilogram of cross bred silk, about 9 kilogram of cocoon is required. This requirement is referred to as RAN data. If we talk about a single cocoon is of about 1.67 gram and forms a 100-yard long filament. To produce this 1 kilogram of raw silk, about 120 to 160 kilogram of foliage is also required. And there is one variety of mulberry that is referred to as the V1 variety. It generally tends to produce maximum yield, that is 60 metric ton all around the world, which is the highest. And there are two terms which are generally associated with silkworm. One is referred to as the brown gold, and the other is referred to as the green cocoon. So brown gold is the dead pupa of silkworm, whereas the green cocoon, it is referred to the living pupa of silkworm. There is one more term which is referred to as the denier. It is generally referred to the thickness of a 9,000-meter long filament. It is measured in grams. If you talk about the Indian market, so in Indian market, a single bale of silk is about 50 kilograms, and in the international market, one bale is of about 60 kilograms. And there are some other terms which are also associated with the silkworm. These terms are stiffling, reeling, and spinning. Stiffling is referred to as the process of killing off pupa to prevent the emergence of the adult. It is generally achieved by various methods, like boiling water can be used for this, or partial drying can be done, or there is another method which is the open pan method. It can be used to prevent the emergence of the adults. Next is the reeling. Reeling is generally defined as the process of unwinding of silk from cocoon, or in simpler words we can say it is the process of removal of thread from the cocoon itself. It generally tends to affect the quality as well as the length of the fiber. Next term is spinning. The process of making yarn from the fiber, or we can say that the process when fiber is being drawn from a mass of wool and is being twisted outside to inside is generally referred to as spinning. So these three terms, that is stiffling, reeling, spinning, they are very important in the entire process of rearing of silkworms. There is one more term which is associated with the rearing of silkworms, which is referred to as brushing. This term generally refers to the process of transfer of silkworms to the rearing trays via feathers. So during this process of brushing, the silkworm larvae, they are generally transferred to the rearing trays via the feathers, and for the purpose of hygiene, sometimes chopsticks are also used. Sometimes instead of the later stages, the earlier stages of silkworm are generally preferred for the purpose of rearing. That is, the first and the second instars are preferred for rearing. This is referred to as the chalky rearing and is done on the tender leaves of S36 variety, which is an EMS selection of Behrampur local. It is generally done at a temperature of about 25 to 27 degrees Celsius with 80 to 90% of relative humidity. If you talk about the feeding for the first as well as the second instar, leaf picking is done where the leaves are given for the purpose of feeding. For the third and the fourth instar, batch or branch feeding is used, and for the fifth instar, which is used for the purpose of rearing of silkworms, whole shoot is used. This whole shoot, it is an intensive method and is generally preferred, as in this method 20 to 30% of the leaf is saved. Next, we're going to study about the diseases of silkworm. This is one of the most important topic. First, we have the pebrine disease. Pebrine disease is caused by Nosema bombycis, which is a protozoan. It generally tends to affect right from the egg to the adult stage, and hence mother moth examination plays a very important role in its early detection. The eggs which are produced, they are unfertilized and dead, whereas if we talk about the adults, the abdomen is swollen, shiny, and constitutes certain pepper-like spots all around the abdomen. This pebrine disease is also referred to as Futake disease. Next disease is the Flachery disease. This Flachery is caused by bacteria, which is Bacillus bomby septicus. The characteristic symptoms of this disease are the loss of appetite, flaccid body, dysentery, and emission of foul smell. This disease is also referred to as Thatte Sappe and is most prominent during the summer season as well as during the rainy season. Next disease is Grassery. This Grassery disease is caused by nuclear polyhedral virus. It generally tends to affect the larval stage the most and causes swelling of the segments, because of which it is generally referred to as Hawthorne or sugarcane like swelling. Sometimes the skin of affected lava ruptures, which results in the release of a milky fluid, which is a characteristic symptom of this disease. The body fluid, it becomes thick, and the silkworm eventually dies due to this disease. Next we have muscardine disease. This muscardine disease is caused by fungus and generally tends to affect larval stage, pupal stage, as well as the adult stage. Due to this disease, hyphae emerge out from the intersegmental regions, and the larva becomes hard and mummified. Vomiting and diarrhea are also the symptoms of this disease. This muscardine disease can be of various types like white muscardine, green muscardine, yellow muscardine, and brown muscardine. This white muscardine is caused by Beauveria bassiana. Green is caused by Spicaria or Metarhizium. Yellow is caused by Isaria farinosa, and brown is caused by Aspergillus. This brown muscardine is caused when the relative humidity is quite high, as well as the temperature is also quite high. Besides this, there is also one more disease called as the Salto disease. This Salto is caused by Bacillus thuringiensis. So these are some of the important topics of sericulture, which are quite important according to the exam point of view. If you like the video, then do not forget to share and subscribe. Thank you.